4. Globalization and the United Nations. The relationship between globalization and the UN can be seen in several aspects. One, policy and regulation. The UN creates international policies and regulations that can influence or be influenced by globalization. For instance, the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, are a global agenda aimed at addressing economic, social, and environmental challenges in a globalized world. The United Nations, UN, plays a crucial role in shaping international policies and regulations significantly influenced by and contributing to globalization. One of the most prominent examples of this is the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. SDGs, a set of 17 interconnected goals established in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The SDGs aim to address a broad spectrum of global issues encompassing economic, social, and environmental challenges. These goals are designed not only to guide global and national development policies, but also to encourage a more integrated approach to sustainable development. They include objectives like ending poverty, achieving food security, ensuring equality education for all, promoting gender equality, and tackling climate change. The interconnectedness of the SDGs reflects the nature of globalization, where actions in one part of the world can have significant repercussions elsewhere. For instance, efforts to combat climate change under SDG 13 have global implications. Given that climate change is a borderless issue affecting every country. Similarly, SDG 8, which focus on promoting sustained inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, acknowledge that global economic health is crucial for the prosperity of individual nations. The role of the UN in this context is to provide a platform for international cooperation. By setting these goals, the UN acknowledges the need for a coordinated global response to the challenges posed by globalization. The SDGs also serve as framework for countries to align their policies and practice. Fostering a more inclusive and sustainable form of globalization. Moreover, the UN facilitates discussions and negotiations among its member states allowing for the sharing of best practices and lessons learned in implementing these goals. This collaborative approach is crucial in a globalized world where challenges and solutions are often transnational in nature. Two, peacekeeping and security. In a globalized world, conflicts and security issue often has international implications. The UN plays a crucial role in peacekeeping operations and conflict resolution. This collaborative approach is crucial in a globalized world. Where challenges and solutions are often transnational in nature. Two, peacekeeping and security. In a globalized world, conflicts and security issues often have international implications. The UN plays a crucial role in peacekeeping operations and conflict resolution. In the context of globalization, conflict and security issues often transcend national borders, having international implications. The United Nations, UN, plays a pivotal role in peacekeeping. operations and conflict resolution globally. Its peacekeeping forces are deployed in various regions to monitor ceasefires, protect civilians, and assist in the implementation of peace agreements. These operations are essential in stabilizing regions post-conflict, providing a foundation for peace and reconciliation. The UN's approach to peacekeeping and security is not just military, but also involves political, humanitarian, and development efforts. This comprehensive strategy is crucial in addressing the root cause of conflicts, which are often complex and multifaceted in a globalized world. Moreover, the UN facilitates dialogue and negotiation between conflicting parties. Aiming to achieve peaceful resolution to disputes. As globalization intensifies interdependencies among nations, the role of UN in maintaining international peace and security becomes increasingly significant. Its efforts in peacekeeping and conflict resolution are vital in preventing conflicts from escalating into wider regional or global crises. By intervening in hotspots and promoting peaceful solutions, the UN contributes significantly to global stability, an essential component of a harmonious international community. 3. Human rights globalization can both positively and negatively affect human rights. The UN advocates for human rights standards worldwide and monitors their implementation. Globalization's impact on human rights is multifaceted, influencing them both positively and negatively. The United Nations, UN, plays a critical role in advocating for and monitoring the implementation of human rights standards globally. Through its various agencies and bodies, such as the UN Human Rights Council and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. It strives to uphold and promote universal human rights principles. The UN's work in this area includes monitoring human rights situation in different countries, investigating violations and providing recommendation and assistance to improve human rights practices. This role is increasingly important in a globalized world where transnational issues like migration, human trafficking, and the spread of information technology bring new challenges to human rights protection and enforcement. Additionally, the UN fosters international cooperation. In the field of human rights, it encourages countries to ratify and implement international human rights treaties and the conventions, facilitating a global framework for the protection of human rights. In a world where global and local issues are intervened, the UN's commitment to human rights remains a cornerstone of its efforts to promote dignity. The UN's commitment to human rights, equality, for economic development, the UN and its specialized agencies like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank work on economic development and poverty reduction. Which are integral aspects of globalization. The United Nations, UN, along with its specialized agencies such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank plays a significant role in guiding economic development and poverty reduction. Both of which are integral aspects of globalization. These organizations focus on facilitating economic growth, particularly in developing countries, through various means, including financial assistance, policy service, and technical support. The IMF, for example, provides financial support countries facing economic instability. Helps stabilize exchange rates, and offers technical assistance in fiscal and monetary policy. This support is crucial in a globalized economy where financial crisis can have far-reaching effects. The World Bank, on the other hand, focus more on long-term economic development and poverty reduction. It offers loans, grants, and expertise to developing countries for projects that improve infrastructure. Education, health, and more, aiming to build the foundation for sustainable economic growth. These organizations also play a role in promoting international trade and investment. Crucial component of globalization. They assist countries in integrating into the global economy by adopting policies that facilitate trade and attract foreign investment. Which can be pivotal for economic growth. Furthermore, the UN and its agencies advocate for economic policies that are inclusive and sustainable. This involves addressing issues like income inequality, ensuring that economic growth benefits all segments of society, and promoting environmentally sustainable practices. Five, environmental protection. Global environmental issues such as climate change and biodiversity laws are central to both globalization and the UN's agenda. Global environmental issues like climate change and biodiversity laws are at the forefront of both globalization and the United Nations UN agenda. These challenges, inherently global in their nature, require coordinated international action, which the UN facilitates through various programs and initiatives. The UN addresses climate change, arguably the most pressing global environmental issue, through frameworks like the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, and its Paris Agreement. These international treaties aim to unify countries in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, adapting to climate impacts, and supporting sustainable development. Biodiversity loss, another critical issue, is addressed through the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, which focuses on conserving biological diversity, sustainable use of its components, and fair sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. The UN's emphasis on biodiversity is crucial in a globalized world. Where ecological imbalance in one region can have widespread implications. Moreover, the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly those directly related to environmental protection, embody a holistic approach to sustainability. They recognize the interdependence of environmental health, economic growth, and social well-being. The UN also plays a key role in raising global awareness about environmental issues, encouraging scientific research, and mobilizing resources for environmental protection. It brings together various stakeholders, governments, private sector, civil society, and individuals to work collaboratively towards a sustainable future. 6. Health global. Health challenges like pandemics are a direct consequence of increased global interconnectivity. The World Health Organization, WHO, or UN agency, plays a pivotal role in addressing these challenges. Global health challenges such as pandemics are direct consequence of increased global interconnectivity. A characteristic feature of globalization. The World Health Organization, WHO, or specialized agents of the United Nations, plays a pivotal role in addressing these challenges. As the leading international public health organization, the WHO is crucial in coordinating global health responses. Especially in the face of crises like pandemics.
The home of the people that love their land and identity. Or hate them. I don't know. With all these nations laying around the world, something has to keep everything in check, right? Well, let me introduce you to the United Nations, the organization that united the world. So, this is why today's topic is about the United Nations and globalization. First of all, I think it would be best to explain what the UN exactly is. So basically, the United Nations is an organization where countries can come together to tackle problems and find solutions that will benefit all of humanity. The issues they solve range from peace and security to human rights and climate change, though their ability to do this can be questionable at best. The UN is bounded by the UN Charter, the founding document that their principles are based off of. Article 1 itself of the UN Charter can explain their priorities pretty well if people are interested, though that's a story for another time. In order for us to understand the topic, we must ask the question, what is globalization? Globalization is the connection and interdependence of different regions around the world where goods, ideas, technological innovations, and cultures can be exchanged between different places. The idea of interdependence is that different places have specific goods or services that another place might need in order to succeed economically and politically. You might now be wondering, how does the UN connect to globalization? Well, to be honest, that's a pretty varied answer. The UN covers so many different movements and organizations that are just many different ideas of how the UN represents globalization. This is why I will be breaking down all 6 branches of the UN and how they each connect in their own way. This might become too complex, so in the next few moments I'll be explaining how the UN in general connects to the idea of, again, globalization. The major example of globalization that applies to most of the branches is that the United Nations is an international organization that allows different regions and countries to participate in global discussions and create more coherence on the world stage. The idea and execution of the world coming together to tackle issues that span from regional to global represents how countries with different ideas can cooperate and exchange with another, creating a multilateral connection between the entire world. The biggest change throughout its existence is the amount of nations that participate in the UN summits. It has grown from its founding 51 members in 1945 to 193 members in the present day, creating an even better platform for the world to represent and participate in the global network. Moving on to the different branches, the first one I'll be talking about is the General Assembly. The main function of the UNGA is that it allows states to express concerns and make suggestions to the rest of the Assembly on different issues. It has made and controlled decisions across the entire UN organization and focuses on political, economic, humanitarian, social, and legal matters. The way this connects to globalization as the UNGA serves as an in-person forum to create an international response with the direction of the world's countries. The next branch is the UN Security Council. The UNSC is the branch of the UN that works to maintain peace and security, though it has an obvious lack of effort to even do so. The way this branch connects to globalization is that it enforces the idea of international peace. The aim is to spread the idea that diplomacy should be used over violence to solve conflicts. Up next is the Economic and Social Council. This is the branch that focuses on economic, social, and environmental development. The way this connects to globalization is that it tackles the impacts that it presents to us today. Universal membership guarantees that the full effects of globalization can be seen and an appropriate response can be created. Trusteeship councils help trust territories transition into independent states. It suspended operations in 1994 when the final trust territory, Palau, gained its independence. The way this connects to globalization is the idea of expanding the global network. Up next after that is the Secretariat. This branch carries out missions that the UN has and operates all over the world. The way this branch connects to globalization is through its international presence. The UN is able to influence the far reaches of the planet by putting boots on the ground and into action. The final branch I will be talking about is the International Court of Justice. This is the judicial system for the UN and settles legal international disputes. The way this connects to globalization is the idea of spreading a universal law system that applies to the countries of the world. An example of UN globalization in action was the Korean War. The United Nations was authorized to send a task force to South Korea to help them repel a North Korean invasion. Their efforts were a success as they pushed back the North Korean offensive to the 38th parallel. Overall, the UN is one of the best representations of globalization, as it was created during the period of globalization and has since then involved itself internationally in forms of economic, social, and political missions, creating a connected world under the unifying United Nations banner.
Hi there, my dear students. Welcome to the Contemporary World course. I am teacher Heidi, and I'll be staying with